Our target is a syndicate leader. He is associated with several criminal organizations. And proficient with a laser sword.
It's lovely to meet with you all and speak with you. I enjoyed the series so much. So excited to break it down with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to hit and resonate with fans. So yeah, diving in, Athena, I want to start with you as someone who has had your hands at a lot of different Lucasfilm animation projects. I'm curious, what were the origins of this particular project? And I guess more generally, what is the thought process behind commissioning certain projects over others over at Lucasfilm Animation?
Yeah, this was a very exciting project for us because to date, I feel like it's one of the most challenging projects that came to us. Of course, it came from Filoni. And what he has said to us prior to his departure to Ahsoka season 2 was, I want to elevate everything visually. I want to elevate the animation. I want to elevate the backgrounds, the cloth sim, the effects sim, body mechanics, all of that. So that was a tall order and a challenge for all of us, but felt like we needed something like that. So the energy level in the team, I mean, it's still very high right now, to be honest with you. We're all excited about the release as well, but we incorporated old school ways of doing things and new school. What I mean by that is we actually went back to doing oil on canvas for the matte paintings, shooting those, compositing those. I think you might have noticed a brush stroke to get that noir pulpy feel. So Joel, who's our director of photography, he would do paint brush strokes on glass panes, shoot those, composite those. We went back to doing practical model builds for some ships that you'll see in the show. We upgraded our body rigs to have more pivot points, to have more facial blend shapes. We spoke to Sam and did video reference of his face to get those nuances and emotions in the character animation. We did a lot of those things to elevate the cinematic sophistication of the show.
Yeah, you definitely feel that like refinement and sophistication in the show. It's beautiful to look at, but also beautiful to experience and feel. Matt, I wanted to ask you, so this isn't your first time kind of dabbling in the criminal underbelly of the Star Wars universe, having had your hands in that 1313 project, but then also Tales of the Underworld. I'm curious if you find yourself drawing on themes from those previous projects that dealt with, criminal syndicates and the seedy underbelly of this galaxy in crafting the story for this show.
I mean, yes, I tend to find my hand in the seedy underbelly. It's interesting. Yes, there's a lot of themes. One of the challenges of this show was finding new ways to do that and tell new stories with new characters. And we were constantly challenged to figure this out and also create a sort of roller coaster ride, unlike those other shows stories where this thing is nonstop and it's got that pulpy noir feel to it that is really unique, I think.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned it as like kind of Star Wars cops and robbers, and I feel like that very succinctly captures it. Brad, I wanted to ask you, so you're coming off the incredible success of The Bad Batch, which like tonally and narratively is so different from this show, but also has a lot of thematic parallels between mentorship, masters, and apprentices, accommodating to an ever-changing or quickly changing galaxy. In what ways do you see the themes of Maul, Shadow Lord paralleling the Bad Batch, two shows that on the surface are rather different?
Yeah, that's a great question. Bad Batch, we had so much fun on the Bad Batch. I think really at the heart a lot of our stories is the family. Sometimes it's found family, sometimes it's literal family, and it can be complicated and mixed up. In the Bad Batch, we had so much fun. Crosshair is so great, and he goes so dark, and then Omega helps redeem him, and he comes back into the fold of the family. And there's a lot of those family type themes, if you look closely, that are in Shadow Lord. It feels tonally a little darker for sure than the Bad Batch, but also the pulpy noir that we're talking about. That tone felt right so that we don't go too dark, but we can also keep Maul authentically bad because he's a bad guy and we love it. And yeah, those are all challenges, but in all these cases, we do a lot of reference. We do a lot of discussion constantly as a team and with our team of episodic directors and editors and how we approach those things. in some cases, there's episodes that have a little more of a horror vibe. So we're doing a lot of horror reference. We did that on the Bad Batch as well. So yeah, on the surface, they feel different, but there's a lot of themes that run parallel for both shows.
Yeah, and also parallel to like the broader Star Wars galaxy, which I really fell in love with. Athena, I wanted to ask you, so Dave Filoni has spoken a little bit about how this show brings to fruition some of George Lucas's original plans for Maul as a character. How do you see this show as kind of honoring George's legacy, but also crafting something new and novel that fans haven't seen before?
I would say, so obviously Filoni was trained by George, so he understands exactly how the character was brought back. I mean, it was George's idea to bring the character back into the Clone Wars, and Filoni saying, I thought he's dead. I thought you chopped him off in Phantom Menace. It's like, yeah, you'll figure it out. And, Filoni did as well. You were also in those writers' rooms.
Yeah, I was
all
there.
those stories were made. So that's been a lot of fun to see. And then just the challenges, just in terms of the production, to get it to the level that would have honored George's legacy, which is it's never finished until it's finished. You keep it open, make sure you have those discussions, that it makes sense narratively. We kept a couple of episodes open until the very end to make sure that we incorporated all those creative retakes in there. If it means pausing the production and having to rewrite it to get it right, that's what you do. So you honor that legacy as well. Even into editorial, how it's edited, like quick, 3 things happening at once. Always making sure you're going back to those other storylines in a very efficient, clear way. We honor that as well.
I love that. I love hearing about that. And it feels simultaneously like classic Star Wars, but also brand new and fresh and everything. Matt, I wanted to ask you as kind of head writer of the show, I definitely got like a horror movie kind of villain vibe from Maul at times, kind of like Michael Myers or like Jason Voorhees almost, which I absolutely loved like chewing that up. I'm wondering like how you leaned into the horror genre and maybe even those characters in particular to create the show.
Oh man, great question. Look, a lot of that is on this amazing team, the way they create the style and the animation. Story-wise, we have a number of touchstones that we used all the way back to the original serials that inspired George, from science fiction classic and, even the Saturday morning creature features and those kinds of things, up to modern gangster pictures like Heat and The Untouchables and The Dark Knight. We're all fans of genre. So horror definitely is something that continuously comes through, especially things like jump scares and creating tension into that whole roller coaster ride of it is just a good thrill and a thriller to have the audience lean in, basically.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the love for genre coming through. I love the moment with Maul and the train passing by, and you see the image kind of go. It's just like it feels like it's taken straight out of like a Carpenter film from the 70s or something.
Huge Carpenter fans, by the way.
So good. I love that. And I love that it made its way into this franchise that we all love so much. Brad, I wanted to ask you, Athena alluded to maybe some of the stylistic changes of this season, and it definitely feels more intense and aggressive and even stylized, which I really enjoyed. How did you, as the supervising director, approach shot composition, lighting, framing with this new animated style or alterations in the animated style compared to maybe your work on the Bad Batch?
Yeah, very carefully. Yeah, it's great. Those are awesome observations. And really, as a supervising director, I feel like it's important that this is a collaboration because it truly is. So like Athena was saying, we could talk about our team all day. Really, everybody moving in the same direction to try to accomplish this style is the only way we could do it. So how I would direct the framing is very much classic, traditional Star Wars way of filming, very cinematic. But in the edit, Athena was talking about it a little bit. We got a little hectic at times. We would really trim to really pace the story up where we needed to, especially when the action would start popping off. The style of the painterly brushstrokes is something Dave wanted us to explore, and how that could be interpreted in frame was surprising in some cases. So early on, we would be framing a certain way with a certain lens, and we couldn't quite pick up the brush stroke. So we'd bring the camera a little closer, or we'd play with the depth of field. So all the way through, and Athena was just talking about it, we wouldn't leave no stone unturned. Nothing was done until it was done. We just kept improving and pushing so that we could get what you were talking about.
One of the things that Filoni has said that he learned from George is when in doubt, cut it out.
Yeah.
And I just remember you and Nick Anastasio, who's our lead editor, being in edit bay up till 1 a.m, trying to figure out one of the episodes to get it to that point of not compromising the narrative, because we do end up, butting up against parameters and what we can achieve. And I have to say, Brad has done an amazing job, such an amazing job in keeping us in parameters and in schedule. Because there are certain instances where we will blue sky write an episode.
Yeah.
And then when we get to doing a breakdown, there may be moments where we have to eliminate certain sets or vehicles, props or characters without losing the narrative. So you've done a beautiful job
thanks.
and keeping it tight. Yeah.
And I'm in constant awe because, it takes a quantum leap from the page to what these guys make. And I mean, they're magical.
We're having fun.
So are you.
Oh, thanks.